2018 PGA Valero Texas Open has the weakest field that we've seen in quite some time on the PGA Tour. This event has one of the lowest purses of the season, and the players don't really get a whole lot of downtime throughout the summer and spring. This is one of the oldest events on the PGA Tour, but it has only been held at TPC San Antonio since 2010. Coverage of this year's Valero Texas Open will be on the Golf Channel and CBS over the course of the weekend. The Oaks course at TPC San Antonio is a tough one. Since this event moved there in 2010, the winning score has been 14 under par twice, 12 under par twice the last 2 years, 11 under, 9 under, and 8 under twice. It is a feisty 7,400-yard par 72 with a couple of 600-yard par 5s and a par 5 18th hole that checks in at over 590 yards. The course is open for the most part, but most of the par 4s play at par or higher, and there really are not a whole lot of consistent birdie holes. Holes 17 and 18 are, so we could see some aggressive play towards the end of the round for a lot of players. A lot of players typically show up for the Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow in Charlotte, which is 1 week before the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. As a result, this week's Texas Open and next week's Zurich Classic at TPC Louisiana near New Orleans are events that do not draw a big crowd, much like last week's RBC Heritage. Only 6 of the top 30 players in the official World Golf Ranking are on hand. The list of winners is kind of all over the map. Kevin Chappell is a solid player, but he needed a win here to pick up his first career victory last year. Charley Hoffman, Jimmy Walker, Stephen Bowditch, Martin Laird, Ben Curtis, Brandon Steele, and Adam Scott are the other winners on the Oaks course. Sergio Garcia is the favorite and the biggest name in this event at odds of plus 1,200. Sergio played well in March leading up to the Masters with a 7th at the WGC Mexico and a 4th at Valspar, but he missed the cut at the Masters with one of the worst scores in the field. Garcia, whose input was taken under consideration for the designing of this course, has not played here in 7 years. You have to think that he's a bit worried about his game heading into the Players and the Invitational tournaments in May. Therefore, we should be worried too, making this a poor value on him this week. Matt Kuchar is next up at odds of plus 1,600. Kuchar has finished outside of the top 35 in each of the last 2 years. He was 15th in 2015, but that was with a score of 1 over and 12 shots behind winner Jimmy Walker. He was 4th in 2014, but that was certainly a long time ago. Kuchar played well last week at Harbour Town and barely finished inside the top 25. Kuchar played last week at Harbour Town and barely finished inside the top 25. He has 3 top 10 finishes this season in 11 events, but only 1 in his last 7 events. He's a tough sell this week as well. Charley Hoffman is at odds of plus 1,800 as a past champ in 2016. He tied for 40th last year, going 71, 72, 73, 74 over the weekend. He was 11th in 2015 prior to winning at 12 under in 2016 by 1 shot over Patrick Reed, the current Masters champion. Hoffman has 4 top 25 finishes in his last 5 events, but no top 10 finishes this season. The low prices just don't seem to have a lot of appeal this week. Luke List seems to be the best of the low prices. He is at odds of 22 to 1. List is going to get a title here soon. He was 3rd last week at Harbour Town and has 4 top 20 finishes in his last 5 events, including a loss in the playoff at the Honda Classic. He opened with a 68 last year, but finished with a 78 and missed the cut, and he was 29th 2 years ago. List doesn't have a PGA Tour win and only one Web.com Tour title, but he's been knocking on the door a lot lately. Perhaps this will finally be the week for him. Billy Horschel is an interesting play at 33 to 1 odds. Horschel missed the cut last year, but finished 4th in 2016 and 3rd in 2015. If you want a horse-for-course guy, he might be it. Ryan Palmer is another easy call at plus 4,000. He has finished 6th or better here in each of the last 3 years. Horse-for-course plays tend to be pretty popular, especially at these events with weaker fields, and these are probably the best ones on the board. Julian Surrey isn't a bad bet either at 55 to 1 after an 8th place finish at the Houston Open a couple of weeks ago. Ollie Schneiderhan's generally plays well on courses that are loaded with tough par 4s, and TPC San Antonio certainly fits that mold. He's also at odds of 40 to 1.